Hello, and welcome to the version control lecture of Design Tools. Today, I'm going to teach you how to use version control in the most basic way. There are many things that can be done to further your knowledge, but let's just get your feet wet in this case. So, let's start off with why would you want to use version control? Why not just pass a pen drive around, or just use it on your own, or zip it up and email it to someone? Well, there are a few different reasons. The first one is that it allows multiple people to work on the same project at the same time. We're talking even inside the same file. So if you were to try that with just a pen drive or emailing it around, you'd have to sit there and figure out, okay, Joe added this one and Jane added this file, this portion of the file. Let's merge them together. And you have to do that by hand. With version control, we can actually chop down some of that extra work. There are tools inside of version control that allows us to merge our information together, and we can actually visually see it laid out. We can go, okay, we want this part and this part and this part. It's really easy. Also, it allows us to go back to a previous version if we have to. So let's say something bad happens and you're working on your project, and let's say you're working on your game design document, and Word crashes. And when it crashes, it takes part of the document with it. Let's say your level design portion of the document is just gone. It's been corrupted. There's nothing you can do about it. Well, version control can help you with that. So there are a few different things that can happen besides just that software issues. We can actually have hardware issues. Let's say your hard drive crashes, or someone steals your laptop, or any number of things. Lightning strikes, whatever. There are all kinds of things that can happen, and version control can help protect you against that. Also, besides Word crashing or your program crashing, you may do it. Or let's say the cat walks by at the wrong time across your keyboard and completely destroys the file. It happens. So that's why we use version control. So multiple people working on the same project, and your file's getting messed up. Very good reasons why you want to continue to use this. Another side effect of this is it helps keep track of your changes. So when you basically give the files to version control, you submit a list of changes that you made. You say, hey, I added the scoring for it and the game controls, and fixed how it should look. So it allows us to track changes and who made those changes. So it's not just one person working on the same one. So, there are many different versions of version control. Get being typically the most popular. SVN isn't too far behind that, followed by Perforce. Perforce actually is one of the more important ones that we're going to talk about. Star Team is another one. Alien Brain is actually my first one that I ever used. It's still used throughout the industry a little bit. Not as much as it used to, but it's still there. There are others as well. Many out there. In the game industry itself, I kind of had a very unscientific way of finding out who was using what. I just went out to my Facebook and polled all the game developers and designers that I know and asked them, hey, what did you use? That's including some people that you've probably heard of. So I asked them what do they use, and basically it works out to be Perforce was number one, followed very close by Git. We're talking one more person used Perforce than Git. Then Alien Brain. The others, there were a few others out there, but it was statistically not relevant. So, We are actually going to work on Perforce so you can get more bang for your buck. Feel free to learn Git. It's not terribly different than Perforce. The software is a little bit different, but not that much. The ideas are about the same. So, with that, let's go ahead and get some terms here. So we're speaking the same language. It's very important that we do that because, well, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's going to go over your head. Okay, so we're going to start off with a repository. A repository is basically where all your data is placed. So think of it as a bucket holding all of your data. That's the real easy way to think about this. All right. It contains information. It has all your data, and it has a few other pieces of information that help the version control software manage everything. We have the term revision. So basically, it's a copy or a version of your project, and every time it's changed, that's a new revision. It gets a new identifier. Sometimes it's dates, sometimes it's a version number, so a count. So you've seen these before. If you've ever done any sort of beta testing, you've probably seen build number 184592. That's the revision. Later on, when we're actually working inside of Windows, you will see in the bottom corner of my machine that I'm running a test version of Windows. This is kind of like a preview to help bug test Windows itself. You will see in the bottom corner a revision number. This will be the second version of Windows 10 that's been released. So this is after the full versions come out and they're building in new features. So you will see that down at the corner. We use that to say, hey, can you roll back to revision number, blah blah blah, or go look at revision, yesterday's revision at 5:45 p.m. This is why I added, the awesome AI. Not really. Okay, so then we have commit. Commit is the act of creating a new revision. So we add these changes to the repository. So that's when a new revision number is generated or identifier is generated. So this is the real difficult, I don't even say difficult terminology, but the more important terminology that we're going to deal with here. A few words we'll use that you've heard of: delete, create, files, folders. Those are all that should be all terminology that you've heard before. So let's get started here. For the first thing we need to do is we need to install two pieces of software. One of them, the first one we're going to install, the server, is something you're more than likely not going to have to do after this unless you're working on your own project. The only reason we're doing it now is because, well, having a bunch of people who are new operating the software can be a little bit disastrous because you can have someone else, someone submitting some information, and then that same person wants to go do something else to it, and somebody's already come along and deleted it. So I'm going to have you install all the software on your laptop. Now, what's really cool is if you have multiple machines, you can install the server, what we're going to install first, on, let's say, a desktop you have, or some machine that doesn't move. Or you could install it on this machine. That's fine. It really doesn't matter. But if you have other machines, you can work from those machines as well. So you have your laptop wherever you have it installed running, and then you have your client, which is the second piece of software we're going to install, connect to it and pull the information from there. So you're working away on your laptop, and then you're like, let me go work on my desktop. And you can commit your work on your laptop and then go pull it on your desktop and pick up right where you are. So it's pretty handy. So first we're going to start off with installing the server, like I said. You're not going to actually have to do this out in the real world unless you are on your own, because the IT staff will do that for you. They will set up their own machine. It'll probably be a really awesome machine sitting in their data center. It may not even be in the same place you're working. It may be across town or across the state. Basically, it's in some place safe that can be protected, can have power backup, can have data backup. They'll just take care of it for you. But for us, we're going to put it on our own machine. So basically, it's so you have something to test and work with without fear of messing someone else's stuff up. All right, so the second thing we're going to do is we are going to install the client. And I'm going to show you, you can actually get the client at perforce.com/downloads/helix. So we're going to look at that. It's the P4V visual client. There are command line, if you know what command line is, there are command line versions of the client, but that's probably more than we need to deal with here. Now, if you want to go learn that, go ahead. If you don't know what command line is, don't worry about it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close out of here real quick because we're going to go look at the website itself. All right, so this is the website. This is the Perforce website. It has everything that we need on it, and basically we're going to go here to the downloads. And you're like, pricing? Oh no, it's not free. It's okay. It's free for us. And we're going to go ahead and go to the downloads. Okay, so here we have the download page for Perforce. So again, two parts. The first part we're going to get is the server. You can choose which version you need. Right now it's selected to Windows, which is right, but we can run it on basically anything out there. We're going to select the version, or select the OS version. We're going to go for the Windows Installer x64 because we're running a 64-bit operating system. All right, I'm going to hit download. It's going to ask you to register. You don't have to because we're using the 20 free. All right, basically you can have up to 20 users using it for free. Otherwise, you have to pay for a license. All right, the next thing we're going to download is the visual client. So Windows x64, hit download. Skip registration and move on from there. Okay, so while this is downloading, we're going to go ahead and start installing the server. Like I said before, you didn't have to do it. If you're in a real work environment, you may not have to do this. So let me go ahead and get started here. I'm going to hit yes, and it is installing. All right, so we don't need the command line client, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Hit next. All right, so it's asking us what port number we want to use. Basically, this is like an apartment number for our program. We're going to let it be where it wants to be. 1666. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next, and it's going to begin installing. All right. I'm going to go ahead and hit finish on this. And now we're going to install the client. Alright, so now it's getting the client ready. So this is going to allow us to talk to that server. Alright, so we're going to leave everything alone. Hit next. The server is on our local, so we don't actually have to modify anything. So it says omit host name for connecting to a local server. A local server means a server that's on the same machine. Now, if I needed to talk to another machine, I'd put the host name for that machine on there. So that you could either put an IP address for that machine, or if you're on the same local network, the name for that machine. So we're going to actually leave this alone because it's exactly what you want. This is the username I'm going to use for my client here. I could also change it to if I wanted to, so it would give me that name. Or you put whatever you want. You probably need to follow your company's guidelines for naming on that. So I'm going to put it as that. Hit next and hit start. So it's now installing the files that it needs. So, how's that weather and or local sports team? Alright, so we're done. Hit finish. The install is now done and ready for us to continue. Get started on actually using this. So, I'm going to go ahead and go into the client. And P4V. So this is actually asking for my connection information. So my server, since it's local, we're just going to leave it like that. My user, since I don't exist yet, I'm going to go ahead and create a new one. Otherwise, you can go find yourself. So. And, you don't need it. Actually, I'm going to just leave that off so it's easier to deal with here. Alright, and then at fullcell.com. And I'm going to go ahead and save that. So it's going out to deal with it for me. Now, my workspace. This is where we want to store it. So let's go ahead and create a new one. Now, I could use this. I'm going to go ahead and let's call it design space underscore space. Alright, so now it wants to know where it's going to put it. Alright, this is not really where we put it. This is actually part of our server stuff. So what I'm going to do is put this in our documents here. So let's go ahead and take care of that. We're going to select the documents folder. Alright, and we're going to add a little bit to it. So I'm going to go to the very end here and do another slash. We're going to do design underscore space. Alright, so we've done that. We're going to automatically get all revisions. Well, the thing is we don't have any revisions yet, so we're going to go ahead and hit OK. Alright, now it should go ahead and pull stuff up. We don't have any new files, but if you were going to have some new files, we would add those. So it's going to be a little bit unhappy because we're our first one here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel this because, well, we don't have any files in there yet. So this happens to be our workspace. You'll notice here the depot is empty, so we have nothing in there. We can actually go to that area there. So right now it doesn't have anything in it. If we open this up in Explorer, we can actually find it on our machine. So it's saying, oh, hey, I don't know where that is. So we're going to have to actually create that. So jump in there, create new folder. I am going to paste in here part of it here, just so I don't have to type it out. Alright, so now that we're in here, alright, so let's start adding files. So the first thing that we need to do is kind of get through the idea of even if you have files physically on your computer, it doesn't know about it until you actually tell it. So you actually have to copy the files in. So to add these files, you need to go ahead and either create the file or copy it into the directory structure of where you're storing your stuff locally. Inside Perforce, you're going to click on the file, so you might have to hit refresh for it to show up once you've copied it in. You're going to click Add, so there's a little button at the top. You're going to hit Add. You can submit that right away. So basically what that's going to do is it's going to queue it up for you to get it ready to send it off to the server itself. So let's go ahead and try that before we get too far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back here. Alright, so if we look at this, we have an empty directory. So let's go ahead and right click on this and we're going to create a file here. In this case, we're going to create a text file. So new text document, fine, that'll work. So let me go ahead and drop some data into it. So let's say this is a brand new file. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. So now our text document has ones in it. Now if you hit Control S inside of Notepad and a lot of different programs, that is considered save. That's a shortcut for save. So I'm going to go ahead and move over here. Right now our depot is empty. If I go to Workspace, it's already found the file that I have here. Now if it doesn't show up the file that you added, hit refresh and it will find it for you. Alright, so what I need to do to add this to the to Perforce, say, hey, I want you to version control this, is that I want you to go ahead and click on that and hit add. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK on that. And now it's kind of ready, it's pending. See, it's over in the pending list. It's saying that we need to go ahead and submit that file. So I'm going to hit submit. It's like, hey, tell me what's going on here. A text file. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and submit that. And look, we have our first file in version control. Very cool, right? Alright, so, if we want to edit this file, though, right now, if I go in here and try to do anything, oops, wrong version of the file. If I go over here, and I want to modify this file. If I try to do anything, like, and I try to save it, it's going to go, hey, you want to save this somewhere else, don't you? Well, no. If I try to save it, though, it's going to tell me it's write protected. So, hey, it's read only. You can't do anything with it. The reason for that is we haven't checked it out yet. So, we need to, before we modify any files, we need to check out a file. So what we're going to do is click here on the file, and we're going to choose checkout. So you could put in, say, hey, I'm modifying this file, whatever. So I'm going to hit OK on that, and it's kind of hard to see on here, but there's actually a little check on that file. So let's go ahead and try to modify that file now. So we're back here. Actually, let's be nice and make this all 2s so we can see. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and save that. Hey, look, it actually took it this time. Cool, right? So let's go ahead and go back here. Right now, we have a file that's been changed. So I'm going to refresh that. It's been changed, and we need to go ahead and tell the system that we have some changes we want to add into the repository. So let me go ahead and submit that, and it's going to ask what we did to it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and submit that. Now you'll notice it actually changed. This column here is revision, so it's saying number 2 of 2. So there have been 2 revisions so far. Now, of course, you can check it out again and modify the file again. Say we do something crazy like add all 4s, which would be kind of wrong in this case. Oh, hey, look, I forgot to check it out, didn't I? I forgot to check it out. Okay, so let's go ahead and close that out. No, right. So check out, yes, and let me go ahead and modify that. Now I can modify that. Save it. It's like, what? Alright. Now, we made changes, and I'm going to submit those changes. I messed up the file. Ooh. Alright, so I wouldn't have known I messed up the file, but let's say I did. Alright, so right now I have revision 3 of 3. And the depot actually has it, the repository has it. This is wrong, this is bad, it's evil. So let's go ahead and let's fix this. Let's go back to a previous version before I mess that up. So if I click over here on Workspace, if I right click on it, I can choose Get Revision. So what that's going to do is it's going to say, hey, you want to go back to a previous version of this file. So here it's showing the file. I can add more or remove them if I want to. I want to actually specify the revision that I want. I want revision 2. So that was before I added the 4s. So I'm going to say revision 2. I'm going to choose Get Revision. So we're going to do that real quick. And now it says 2 of 3. Alright. Well, let's go take a look at the file. Show you here we have the 2s, and I'm going to go ahead and replace it with 3s. And add the 3 in after it rolled back. So, hey, look, forgot to check out. Let's go ahead and check it out real quick before I try to save. No, don't get the latest, because this is the version I want. And I'm going to go ahead and save this now that I've checked it out. Alright, so I've done that. Now, what I need to do is I need to get the latest version, because if I tried to submit this right now, it's going to actually, let me go ahead and show you what it is. It says, oh, there's something wrong, so it's out of date and we need to resolve it. So this is something we need to do. So let me go ahead and cancel this here. Let me go ahead and get the latest, and it's going to go, oh, hey, you need to resolve this before fixing the issue, or before trying to submit. So what I'm going to do is right click on it, and I need to choose resolve. All right, so it says I have a conflict here. I'm going to replace the this information. So I'm going to accept the target and submit. Submit. All right, so we have revision 5, and look, we have a fixed version here. All right, so if I wanted to modify it, we can do checkout. We're good here. Add another. Save it. Submit. All right, so the file has been submitted. Look, we're on version 606. All right, so it's text files are cool. Yeah, that's fine. We can also add some other files here. So new bitmap image. I'm gonna let that be new bitmap image, and we're gonna edit it. All right, so let's go ahead and change the size. Create a text, an image. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and save that. Very good. Close that out, and we have a new file. If we look over here, we have the bitmap there. If we go into the depot, that file's not there yet, so we need to add that. All right, so right now it says number 0 of 2. It's because I had to roll back and fix some issues. But we're going to go ahead and add this file. We could go ahead and create a new one here, but I'm just going to hit OK on that. And we're going to submit. Now that we've added it, it's added, but it hasn't been submitted to the server yet. So we're going to add it to the server. Submit. Yay! Okay, so very good. All right, saying 3 of 3 because I had previous versions of this file here, mainly because of hiccups in the recording. So that's what it looks like. When you add a brand new file, it'll be 1 of 1. So let's add another one. New, I don't know, what's another text file here? Alright, so that's our second text file, and we're going to put a 2 in there. Save it. And, we can add another image file here. So, alright, and I'm going to edit it because it doesn't have anything here. Alright, so I'm going to make that purple 2. Save it. Purple 2. Now I'm going to go back over to Workspace. So again, it doesn't see those yet, so I'm going to go ahead and hit refresh. So it has the 2 new files. All right, click them both by holding Shift while I'm clicking on each one to add, to select multiple. And I'm going to go ahead and choose Add, and OK on here. So they're ready to be added. They're queued up, and then we're going to go ahead and hit Submit. All right. Files, submit. All right, so you'll notice these are 1 of 1 on either of these because these are fresh, brand new, never been added files. All right. So we have these files. We can revert. We can add. Let's say something goes terribly, terribly wrong. All right, so we lose everything. Oh no. very bad. Delete, they're gone. Right? So they're no longer there in the workspace. Now, to kind of get back files, it's really cool. So we can select it. We've selected them all. And what we want to do is, I'm going to right click on this and choose Get Revision. Alright, so it has all the files that I want. I want to get the latest revision. But because Perforce thinks I might already have the latest version, it won't do anything if I just hit Get Revision now. That would be bad. What I want to do is choose Force Operation. So this will just replace the files no matter what. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and hit Get Revision. And now those files should be in our workspace. Hey, they're back. Now isn't that nice? Alright, let's say you want to get rid of a file. Now you think, oh, well, I could just go and delete it on the hard drive. Yeah, you could, and that would work on your hard drive, but it would still leave the file inside of the project. So let's go ahead and look at the proper way to delete a file. So I'm going to choose this file, and I want to delete it. So you can hit delete there, or you can right click on it. So you'll notice it's not there anymore, but it's kind of, we need to deal with stuff here. We need to actually remove it from the system here. So it's gone on the hard drive, and it's marked to be gone on the system. So if I hit submit here, it's going to say, what do you want to do? Or it's saying, well, I'm going to delete a file. Alright, so all this stuff that I'm writing up here is for the user. And it's telling me what it's going to do. It's going to delete this file. So I'm going to submit that. And now the file is gone from the depot, from the server. So no one else can find it. So, and that is that. So, we can delete a local file. We can remove it from the workspace. And it's pretty cool. We can do a lot of things here. But that's really as far as we want to go today. Now, we may go further later on. In fact, in your later courses, you're going to learn about actually merging the files, and you're going to work with other people and retrieving these files. But that's enough for now. Now, may I suggest, while you're working on your further assignments, you store them in Perforce. It might make your life a bit easier if you're working on something and it gets lost, or something happens, you mess up pretty bad. You can kind of go back to a previous version of it. So it's good practice. That's not the only thing we're going to have you do with this. You can have an assignment that we're going to talk about in a little bit to do. So hang in there, and look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.